During a press conference last week, President Trump unveiled the Platinum Plan. That is a $500 billion package that would benefit African-American communities here in the United States. Joining us to discuss is Joe Collins, GOP congressional candidate in California, the 43rd District, running against Representative Maxine Waters, also a U.S. Navy veteran. Thank you for your service. I want to bring in here Hal Lambert. He's the founder and CEO of Point Bridge Capital, creator of MAGA ETF, and former Ted Cruz National Finance Chair. Also, Bobby Eberle, a PhD and Republican strategist and host of the 13-Minute News Hour. Gentlemen, good to see you. Start your engines. Here we go. Joe, I'll start with you on this. Explain that package plan that I briefly went through there in the intro. What is it? Because I know that over the weekend, the president announced the plan. Were you there? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was there. We were able to listen to the president talk about his plan. And I was kind of impressed. This is the first time in my lifetime that I've actually heard a president, whether it be Democrat or Republican, actually lay out a plan to revitalize and rebuild the Black communities. This is something that we absolutely need. We've been needing this for a very long time. So I applaud and commend the president for doing what he feels is necessary in order to give us that economic boost that we desperately need and deserve in our community. Now, the next challenge is to get the sorry politicians out of office that has been keeping our community in a condition that has been in for this long.
Joe, where's that money needed most? $500 billion, that is quite a big check. Where does that money really need to go, and as soon as possible?
Well, the money needs to go to the rebuilding of the infrastructure for the inner cities, also small businesses. Black-owned businesses have been failing for a very long time, and so I think this will be a great push to get our businesses back on tracks in our community.
Hal Lambert, respond to that for me, because, again, a big plan there. There's a lot of excitement about it. You don't get a lot of attention on it, if you will, but we're happy to highlight it today.
Well, look, President Trump is focused on helping the Black community. And, you know, this is one of a number of things he's done while in office. And, you know, it's unfortunate that last night there was no real discussion of that. Chris Wallace didn't ask a question about this. You know, in fact, he decided to ask whether he, condoned white supremacy, which, of course, he doesn't. He didn't talk about what he'd done for the Black community. President Trump tried to talk about it when he wasn't being interrupted. But, I think this program, again, shows that President Trump is focused on helping all Americans. And let's face it, the Black community was not a huge voting bloc for President Trump. So I think it says a lot that he's focused on trying to help the community regardless of whether or not they voted for him.
Bobby, last night, as you watched the debates there, and that was a great point. Again, it's not brought up at the debate, these sticking points, if you will, the denouncement of white supremacists. This seems to be a hot topic of any channel you turn to. And it's a sensitive topic when you have to denounce other groups like Antifa, specifically, though, Black Lives Matter organization, where you've known that these riots and looting have started from. That wasn't a topic of discussion, though that's where we know all the rioting has happened. Why wasn't there a push on that? Why was the talk of white supremacy even brought up in that debate?
Right, that was really shocking. And you know what, it was funny, it was right after the debate. I'm getting ready to do, on a program in the UK, talk about analysis, getting my facts together. The entire segment was about that comment, white supremacy, that Chris Wallace brought up. And the reason they do it, the reason the media does it, I mean, President Trump has denounced this over and over again. Last week, KKK is going to be a hate group, a terrorist organization for prosecutions on violence. How many times does he have to say this? The reason they bring it up is to, in the minds of the American people, balance things out. It's like if we talk about white supremacy enough and violence, then that will counteract all the BLM and Antifa violence that's actually going on. They want to make them equal, where we know it's not. We see it in these cities. It's Antifa that is beating people up. It's kicking them. It's destroying property. It's burning businesses down. And I tell you what, some of that money in the Platinum Plan needs to not only go to infrastructure, but to law and order, because so many of these businesses won't have a chance if they're going to be burned down, and business owners are afraid to invest in the community, regardless of how much money they have.
Joe Collins, last night, President Trump touted the support of several police groups. He asked Biden if he could name the police groups that support him. He could not. What do you make from that?
We all know that Joe Biden would never get any support from any police organizations. He is one of the most strongest supporters for Antifa and in Black Lives Matter, in my opinion. And, if he supports the police department, that means that he's not going to get the support from Black Lives Matter. We know when we go to Black Lives Matter website and we donate, it goes to Act Blue, and Act Blue has been one of the biggest contributors to Democrats that are running for office right now. So I guess he's trying to further along the lines and make himself look like a tough guy, but we all know Joe Biden is a puppet for the Democratic Party, and it's a shame that he couldn't do it. It's an absolute shame.
Joe, do you feel there was a clear winner last night?
You know what? I do. I feel like President Trump got Joe Biden flustered. I was looking for more from this debate, but it was a chance for our president to get his animosity out for the way the media has been treating him and get his points across. And I think he did a good job with that. I'm looking forward to the next debate, but I'm looking for more substance, something that I can bring back to our community and say, listen, this is the plan that we're going to use to rebuild our community, and this is the plan that we're going to use to work with the president to make our country great again.
Vice President Pence and VP candidate Kamala Harris take the stage a week from today. We'll see what questions are asked. We did lose Hal Lambert, but I thank Hal Lambert for coming on. Bobby Eberle, stick around. Joe Collins, thank you so much for your time.
Insight and analysis as well. Very interesting to hear. All right, our panel is going to weigh in as we wrap up today's coverage. We have Hal Lambert and Bobby Eberle. All right, guys, Bobby, obviously, we were blessed to hear this interpretation of body language, maybe. A lot of people are sharing their thoughts online with how the debate went and maybe how the candidates could prepare for the next two debates. If you were to have the president's ear here and give him some advice, what would you suggest President Trump maybe trying out for the next two debates?
Well, I definitely have him let Joe Biden hang himself, back off and not interrupt so much. But the whole topic of body language, I just find fascinating because that was one of the things in the debate that I was really looking at. And if you look at what the teams said, what the staff said, Biden's team said he prepared for the debate by going through a lot of mock debates, firing back and forth, where Trump's team said that, yeah, we did some debate prep, but it's the day in and day out of being president, of holding press conferences that really season him and get him prepared. That's actually what I saw. The way he stood, the way he addressed all the issues, he had interrupted too much, yes. When he talked about the issues, he had a command of every single issue and a posture, a stance that looked way better to me than 2016, that he was really ready to go. And that resonated. That was something that I noticed, as opposed to Biden, who was just kind of strange the whole time. So kudos to President Trump. He definitely delivered a presence that looked presidential. For the next debates, though, let Joe Biden speak, because he says things that you can just blast. You can let him just go out there and then reel him in, get him, and address these issues. There were so many issues. Hunter Biden, vaccine, the filibuster, court packing, that if we could have let Biden talk a little bit more, maybe Chris Wallace would have done his job, but President Trump could have fired back fully.
A lot of topics, as you're alluding to, still a lot of unanswered questions. Hal, your thoughts on the two men's stage performance last night?
Well, I think President Trump clearly viewed it as 2-on-1 during the debate. So you could kind of tell by the way he was at the podium, he would go back and forth between Chris Wallace and Joe Biden, whereas Joe Biden would look over at President Trump and then try to look at the camera a lot of the times when he was talking and kind of talk over whatever question he was asked and answer in some sort of manner where he was talking to the American people about something that really wasn't even an answer to a question. So President Trump viewed it that way. So he was kind of in attack mode the whole time. And I agree. I think if there is any more debates, I think he should let Joe Biden get to the end of his sentences, because a lot of the times that's where he stumbles and falls, is he doesn't really know how to end where he's talking, and it doesn't come across well. So I think that would be helpful to him. But I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if the Biden campaign says that's it. I think they may want to try to use the interruptions as an excuse to not do anymore. The media, a lot of the media is already trying to tee it up that way to say, oh, there doesn't need to be any more debates, because, of course, they were all terrified that Joe Biden was going to show signs that he's shown at other times and not be able to answer questions coherently.
Well,
but at the end of the day, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, he did show some of those signs. But, at the end of the day, Joe Biden really wasn't pressed. And I think the whole framing of this debate by Chris Wallace was part of the problem.
Yeah.
This was all a referendum on President Trump's record.
I hate to cut you off. Out of time here today. Hal Lambert, Bobby Eberle joining us this morning. Thank you both so much. Take care.
Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.